Hi friends, welcome to Day 7 Current Affairs. Today first news is about the minority institutions. The Supreme Court says that state can regulate the minority institutions. The Supreme Court has held that the state is well within its right to introduce a regulatory regime in the national interest to provide minority educational institutions with well qualified teachers in order for them to achieve excellence in education. Because the minority institutions are working on their own, it is not correct. It will damage the national interest by decreasing the quality of education. So state can involve in the regulation of minority institutions set by Supreme Court. The managements of minority institutions cannot ignore such a legal regime by saying that it is their fundamental right under Article 30 of the Constitution to establish and administer their educational institutions according to their choice. Okay. Why Supreme Court given this judgment? The judgment came on a challenge to the validity of the West Bengal Madrasa Service Commission Act of 2008. The State Act mandated that the process of appointment of teachers in aided madrasas recognized as minority institutions would be done by a commission whose decision would be binding. The Apex Court upheld the validity of the 2008 Act, saying the commission was composed of persons with profound knowledge in Islamic culture and Islamic theology. Okay. The second news is about RBI and state urban cooperative banks. So this was news after the PMC Bank, Punjab Maharashtra Corporation Bank. The Reserve Bank of India has decided to impose restrictions on urban cooperative banks for deterioration of financial position in line with the PCA, Prompt Corrective Action Framework, that is imposed on commercial banks. Means earlier only for the commercial banks the PCA, Prompt Corrective Action Framework, was imposed earlier, but now it is RBI is decided to impose similar things on urban cooperative banks also. The move comes in the wake of recent crisis at Punjab Maharashtra Corporation Bank. PCA, Prompt Corrective Action, is intended to intervene early and take corrective measures in a timely manner so as to restore the financial health of the banks that are at risk by limiting deterioration in their health and preserving their capital levels. And coming on to details, under the revised supervisory action framework, UCBs will face restrictions for worsening the three parameters. When net non-performing assets exceed 6% of net advances, if means NPS exceed the 6% of net advances, this framework come into picture. Okay, when they incur losses for two consecutive financial years or have accumulated losses on their balance sheets. If the capital CAR, capital adequacy ratio, falls below 9%, there is a limit for everything. Means commercial banks, government banks, there is a capital adequacy ratio should be maintained. If it is falls below 9%, the RBI intervenes and it imposes supervisory action framework. Next thought. New data relay satellites to keep Gaganyaan crew in touch with the Earth. Means the Gaganyaan mission, for Gaganyaan mission, new data relay satellite was introduced. India plans to ring in its own era of space-to-space tracking and communication of its space assets in 2020 by putting up a new satellite series called Indian Data Relay Satellite System (IDRSS). Coming on to details, the IDRSS is planned to track and be constantly in touch with the Indian satellites, in particular those in low Earth orbits, which have limited coverage of Earth. In the coming years, it will be vital to ISRO, whose roadmap is dotted with advanced low Earth orbit missions such as Space Docking Space Station, as well as distance expeditions to the Moon, Mars, and Venus. It will also be useful in monitoring launches. The first beneficiary would be the prospective crew members of the Gaganyaan mission of 2022, who can be fully and continuously in touch with the mission control throughout their travel. Work on the two IDRSS satellites plan has begun. The first of them will be sent towards the end of 2020. Okay. It will precede the pre-Gaganyaan experimental unmanned spaceflight, which will have a humanoid dummy. The humanoid dummy name is Vyomitra. A second one will follow in 2021. The two will offer near total tracking, sending and receiving the information from the crew 24 vessel. Means this IDRSS will be helpful in so many ways, but the first the benefit will get for the Gaganyaan crew mission who are going into the space in 2022. So they can be touch with the communication always. Next. The US is weakened by Soleimani's killing. This is our news. The US killing Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani in an airstrike. Tensions between the US and Iran have been increasing ever since the US withdrew from the Iranian nuclear deal and initiated its maximum pressure campaign on Iran through increased sanctions. Iran had opted the strategic patience approach in reaching out to the world powers while trying to resist the US sanctions. The assassination of General Qasem Soleimani is the latest escalation which threatens to draw not just the two countries but the entire region to war. This Soleimani's killing so much escalated tensions between US and Iran. What are the consequences of this? Further escalating tensions between the US and Iran. General Qasemi Soleimani was a top Iranian military commander with a diplomatic passport. His assassination is being viewed in Iran as a declaration of war. There have been large-scale street protests in Iran condemning the assassination and calling for revenge. This killing lead so many protests in the Iran country that there is no revenge on US like that. So this was escalated so much tensions between US and Iran. In the holy city of QM, a red flag was flown on the dome of Jamkaran Mosque, signifying that Iran is prepared for a long war. In the current circumstances, there is little possibility of renegotiating the Iranian nuclear deal, which alone can bring lasting peace to the region. Fifth news. 600 check dams to be built across Telangana. 600 check dams have been sanctioned across the state of Telangana under phase 1 of the irrigation development project. Of them, 84 will be constructed in Adilabad district at a cost of about 200 crores to irrigate crops on nearly 11,000 acres. The hilly district has umpteen number of hill streams but nil water harvesting structures. The check dams will not only retain excess water during monsoon but will also improve the groundwater level. This will take care of the drinking water needs to the local population. The check dams means it will restrict the flow of running water and it will create a small storage of the water so that here the groundwater level also increase and the water can be used by the surrounding irrigation crops. Supreme Court to study anti-conversion laws of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. The laws intended to criminalize religious conversion via marriage and mandate prior official clearance between marrying into other faith. Uttar Pradesh passed Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religion Ordinance 2020. Uttarakhand enacted Freedom of Religion Act 2018. Next, last. Kerala declared bird flu as state disaster. Recent disaster is bird flu, which was seen in yesterday current affairs also. The government issued a high alert in Kottayam and Alappuzha districts where the disease has been detected primarily. Last news. Recently, Global Economic Prospects report has been released by World Bank. As per this, global economic output is expected to grow by 4% in 2021. Indian economy to contract 9.6% for 2021. So global economic is going to increase by 4%, but the Indian economy is going to contract by 9.6%. Okay, this is all because of the COVID-19 lockdown effect. Okay, thank you very much for listening to this video. Please comment, like, dislike, and share and subscribe. Thank you very much. We will meet again for tomorrow current affairs. Thank you.